You know that old joke, I went to a boxing match and a hockey game broke out? Well, that might have to be revised to, I went to a boxing match and a middle school basketball game broke out. Some of you may have already seen the video of this. For those of you who haven't, last week in Knott County, Kentucky, which is just north of the Tennessee border, Emelina and Carr Creek Middle Schools played in the A-Team Championship tournament when one of the players got shoved. And I didn't see it on the video that I watched of this. All I just saw was the kid sliding across the hardwood. And, well, after that, it was on. The players started fighting each other. Then a bunch of parents came out onto the court, and they started getting into it with each other. And after a while, security and the school staff, they started to break things up. But there was one guy. Yeah, it's always one guy. There was one guy, he was still getting in everyone's faces, yelling his head off, and a couple people were trying to pull him away, but he kept just trying to just fight out of their grip, and he's still screaming at people and flailing around. Well, two of those people he was screaming at, they looked like they were plainclothes cops there to provide security, and when the dude wouldn't settle down, Mr. Sparky made an appearance, and then the dude fell down with the aid of about 2,000 volts. I'm telling you, I mean, like a second after those probes hit him, he was just, boom, just down. And I kind of found it amusing because the two guys who were doing commentary on this live stream, they were just kind of speaking matter-of-factly and like speaking in a little burst here and a little burst here. And you could tell they were not professionals at it. Yeah, I'm thinking they were probably teachers or staff members that someone just handed a microphone to them and just said, just talk about the game. They didn't sound like someone who does it for a living. Someone who'd be there going, and the players are shoving one another. Now the refs and security are trying to break it up. There's one parent screaming in the faces of security, he got tased! He got tased! He's down! He's down! Okay, well, I mean, that's how I would do it. And this is a good example of why if something major goes down at a middle school or high school sporting event, parents should not set one foot on the court, on the field, because with emotions boiling over, you're only going to make matters worse. And you might also wind up getting tased. And we also had something even crazier happen right here in Arizona last weekend. There was a youth flag football tournament going on at that big sports complex in Mesa, Arizona Athletic Grounds, and some of the players started tussling. Next thing you know, you got more than 100 parents and spectators out on the field causing a near riot. And I think there were about 4 different police agencies who rolled on that one. And there was one video I saw. They don't have like a video of the actual fight itself, or if they do, I haven't seen it. But there was one video. There were like about 20 police cars actually parked on the turf there. And one video I saw, there was one cop who was actually riding on the outside of the door of one vehicle as it's heading to the field. And I'm telling you, man, that cop just looked gangster doing that, man. Unfortunately, all the other games in that tournament had to get canceled. And here's the crazy part on that. No one got arrested. I mean, how do you have like a near riot and no one gets hauled off in the shiny silver bracelets? Anyway, all this got me thinking about how many brawls have I seen at all the games I have covered here in the Tri-City area over the years. And I'm not counting the Arizona Sundogs from back in the day because, it's hockey and I mean, that's just part of the game. One that sticks out to me was a few years ago over at Yavapai College. They were having a baseball game. And memory serves, I think they were playing South Mountain at the time. And one of their players got plunked. He took exception to it. So the next thing you know, bench is clear. Everyone's congregating around the first baseline. Some players are pushing and shoving. Others are just kind of standing around. Like the typical baseball brawl. You got a few people in the middle, like mixing it up, and everyone else is standing around going, what's going on, man? Let's look at this. What's going on, man? But well, one of the things was one of the Yavapai players actually came running from the outfield and blindsided this one guy from South Mountain. And not only did he get thrown off the team after that, he got booted out of the school. And I actually didn't see that incident when it happened there because all my focus was just on the mass of players around the first baseline. Then there was a Prescott Bradshaw Mountain boys basketball game because, of course, I guess there had to be a Prescott Bradshaw Mountain game in the mix here somewhere. But there's another few years ago, there was a Prescott Bradshaw Mountain boys basketball game where emotions boiled over and the players just dogpiled on each other right in the middle of the court. So now you got administrators and security all racing out there. And luckily it got broken up in quite a hurry. And here's the part I still don't understand with all that. There was not a single technical foul issued in that. In fact, there wasn't even a regular foul issued in that incident. How that happens, I don't know. And of course, another Prescott Bradshaw incident. There was a Prescott Bradshaw Mountain boys soccer game years back where the teams were coming off the field for halftime, and I don't know, words were exchanged. I guess it was the usual, your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries, and I unclogged my nose at you. And players started pushing and shoving, and they even knocked over a garbage can. Then a couple years ago, you had that Prescott Vista Grande football game where there was some, tensions and emotions running high during the game, a lot of hard hits and stuff like that. And then in the handshake line, tempers flared, and you got players started pushing and shoving one another. Then, well, there was one, I wasn't there for this one, but I did see the video of it a week or two later. This was a few years ago. The Embry-Riddle and Antelope Valley women's basketball teams are playing one another, and after a hard foul, players from both teams started swinging on one another, and several of them actually got suspended for a few games. And this is probably one of the craziest brawls I've seen. Now, okay, I wasn't actually in the stands. I saw it on TV, and I saw it live as it happened. I didn't watch the highlights of it. This was like 1990, so I was still in college at the time, and the Phillies were playing the Mets at Old Shea Stadium, and Dwight Gooden was on the mound for New York, and one or two Phillies got plunked, and I remember as they were going to commercial break after this one inning, they put up the first three batters for the next inning for the Mets, and who was leading off? Dwight Gooden. And I'm like, oh, this dude is getting hit. And the guys in the production truck probably thought the same thing too, because when they came back from commercial break, they had an overhead shot of the infield. It was like a camera several rows up from home plate. So you got a good view looking down at the infield. And I think it was Don Carmen who was pitching for the Phillies in that game. But I mean, like barely 2 seconds after they get back from commercial break, Carmen just fires the ball right at Dwight Gooden's legs. Gooden charges the mound, and that kicked off a brawl that, I kid you not, it lasted for about 20 minutes, and it was a brawl. It wasn't just a typical couple people shoving and everyone else looking around. No, it's like everyone was getting mixed up in it, and the brawl probably would have ended soon, except Darryl Strawberry. Yeah, of course, Darryl Strawberry. Who else? Darryl Strawberry decided he wanted more. He got into it with a couple Phillies, and the whole thing started up again. Darryl Strawberry, man. You know what? If it wasn't for, well, the litany of all the problems that dude had, he would have been in the Hall of Fame. Thankfully, we didn't have any of that happen in last night's Prescott Bradshaw Mountain basketball games that we actually broadcast on our sports station, the team, 1450 AM KNOT. Both the Badgers and Lady Badgers getting blowout wins in those games. Speaking of the Lady Badgers, we've got some of them in the studio with us today. We've got head coach Jamie Johnson. We've got players Bella Apt, Addie Prisciandera, and Lily James, and they're here to talk about the phenomenal season that they are having, a season that has them ranked number 2 in the PowerPoint rankings in the 4A conference. So we'll be talking to them on the other side of the break. We'll be back with more right after this. And welcome back to the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here, along with, unintentionally embarrassed Bella Apt after I played her up, little Tri-City Sports Roundup promo. I don't know, I think that was when I got you when we were a freshman or a sophomore or something. Anyway, along with Bella Apt, we've got head coach Jamie Johnson, we've got Addie Prisciandero, and we've got Lily James from the number 2 ranked Prescott girls basketball team. Ladies, good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, John.
All right. And, as I said last night, over on the team 1450 AM KNOT, you got to hear the Prescott girls basketball team defeat Bradshaw Mountain rather handily. And, Coach, I know sometimes it can be a little difficult playing those blowout games, but I guess one of the benefits is you got to put a lot of your bench players in there, and they got some really good minutes and really shined for you, huh?
Yeah, they did. They stepped up this time and took care of the ball, and they're improving each game. So it was a great opportunity for everybody on the team.
Mm-hmm. And Bella, I guess for starters like yourself, gives you a chance to get a little bit of rest in those games. Because I don't think you, Addie, or Lily were even in there in the entire fourth quarter. Yeah. So do you like it in those games when you at least get a quarter off, or would you rather be out there on the floor?
I'd personally rather be out there just because it's like, I don't know, like you're playing, like this is like our last year, obviously, because me and Addie are seniors, so it's just like wanting to go out and like just kind of like get everything out of it. But I mean, it's nice and great getting to see like the rest of the team shine and doing well too. So.
All right. And well, of course, one game where you ladies were in there for all 4 quarters. We're going to go back a couple weeks ago to another game we had on the team 1450 AM, and that was, of course, Prescott versus Flagstaff. And Addie, Flagstaff hadn't lost a region game in something like a decade like that. But, going back to that Elite 8 game you had against Flag last year, you only lost by about maybe like 5, 6, 7 points. So after something like that, going into this year's first encounter with him, did you feel like even though you lost, it still gave you confidence knowing that, if we do a couple more things right, we've got these girls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely based on the game last year, we've improved so much since then. And so knowing that we were so close in that game last year and working with that improvement that we've had going into this game, we were definitely prepared and ready for it.
And Lily, kind of like I said, Flagstaff has had not just Prescott's number, everyone's number in the Grand Canyon region for years and years. So going into that game, was there any nervousness on the part of the team, or were you girls just like really looking forward and had a lot of confidence saying, I think this is the time we can beat them?
I think we had a lot of confidence, especially in the locker room. We were like listening to music, blasting music, and it was just like a good vibe, and we were ready.
Okay, now I have to ask this, and I'll do my best not to make fun if I don't like this answer. What kind of music were you listening to?
Rap.
Be good, John. Be good. Why don't you listen to like some Sabaton? They're singing songs about like, Genghis Khan and Joan of Arc. That ought to get you pumped up. And that's my suggestion. Take it or leave it. Probably leave it because no one ever listens to anything I say anyway. So Coach, when the game got started, as the game went on, were there any moments that you felt that even before the final score happened, were there any moments that you felt that my girls got this one?
I think just heading into the game, I knew that it was ours. We've spent a lot of time working on our mental game. And just a shout out to Spencer Meyer and Rich Tenney, who have started the Can Do program. They've helped us a lot with preparing for these moments. And the girls have put in a lot of hard work, and I think we were prepared. And we've become the kind of team that even when we get down in a game, we know that, that's not the end of it, that we can come back. And so they've done a great job to prepare for a game like that.
Mm-hmm. And Bella, of course, it was a close game throughout, kind of back and forth there. So what were some of the keys for you girls to finally pull ahead in the last couple minutes and get that win?
Lily came in clutch during like the third or fourth quarter. She hit like so many like important shots and threes. So like Lily stepped it up. I feel like we also just like, we didn't really have any calls going our way. It kind of was like we were playing up at Flag. It felt like a lot of like Flag home advantage, but
I know what you talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. We just kind of, I feel like we just bared down and we just like stuck it out, and we just had to keep playing together and playing aggressive and just not look back from like work on like the past mistakes that we made earlier that like let them get ahead.
Mm-hmm. And Addie, final horn sounded. It was what, 46-40 was the final score there. Just talk about the mood of the entire team after you accomplished maybe what a lot of people thought was impossible, actually beating Flagstaff in a region game.
Mm-hmm. I just think it felt amazing for everyone. I mean, they're such a dominant team, and I've lost to them every game that I've played to them up until then. So it just is an amazing feeling, and I think it also felt so good because it showed all the progress that the team has made, and that, like, yeah, we're a serious team. So, yeah.
And Lily, for yourself, how much did it mean to you to be a part of the Prescott team, just be a part of any team that finally ended Flagstaff's run of Grand Canyon region victories?
I mean, it meant a lot to me. Like last year, in that game, I missed a couple shots, and then like I got it back this game, so like it really felt really nice. Okay, now Coach, coming up next Friday, it's the rematch up in Flagstaff, which we will have on the Team 1450. And, again, I know the girls are jacked about getting that win. What are some of the things that you got to do to make sure they don't get overconfident, don't get too overhyped going into Flagstaff? Because you know that Flagstaff, well, they're going to be like Khan from Star Trek II, The Wrath of the Khan. They're going to be looking to serve revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yeah, for sure. I think we just go into every day, working hard in practice, and we treat every game like it's, a new game. We try to play our game regardless of who we're playing, regardless of, what the score was in the games before, and we're just like it's a new game. We're there to work hard, and so I think we'll be ready for it.
Okay. And well, we're talking about the Flagstaff game, but there was another game that you girls really had to battle in, and that occurred actually last Saturday, and that was down at Sunny Slope. And Bella, that was a game where it seemed like you girls trailed the whole way and finally pulled it out in the end. So just talk about what it took to win that game.
That game was crazy. Like, we were down. I went back and rewatched it. We didn't come ahead even by 1 or 2 points until a couple minutes into the fourth, I think. Lily, again, she also hit so many amazing clutch shots. So I give a lot of credit to Lily. And I feel like we just did a good job playing together as a team. And we all, when they would steal the ball from us, we'd all hustle back, get the missed layup, go back and rebound. We were all just playing good basketball, good team basketball. It was an amazing win because last year when they came up here, we obviously lost pretty badly. But after that win, it just felt like it was such a motivator that okay, we were good. We beat a 6A team. We can make it so far. And it was just, it felt like another Flagstaff win, honestly.
Speaking of Lily over there and clutch shots, Lily, you nailed 4 trays in the fourth quarter. So what happened with you? Or you just decided to turn it up to level 10,000 and help out the team?
Yeah, I mean, they were playing a zone, so when Bella or Addie got it in the free throw, I had the shot. I was I'm going to take it because, yeah, why not? And then I was in the same spot for most of my threes too, so I knew where I was at, and I was yeah, that's going in.
Yeah, and I know there's always been a little joke about you, and it's told from a place of love and everything, but it's always hey, look at that, Lily James got a basket. Well, that's her bucket for the night. Now she's just going to go back to running the floor and dishing out assists and everything. But the last couple of weeks, you've actually been cranking up the scoring. So I don't know, were you hearing those jokes and saying, I'm going to show everyone I can actually score?
I mean, I haven't heard of them, but now it just it makes me more confident and stuff.
And Addie, after big wins against Flagstaff, a big win against Sunny Slope, where the game really didn't come easy for you, how much do you feel that's just going to benefit this team when you head into the playoffs? Probably starting off even in the open division of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Both of those games are just giving us real game scenario prep and helping us with our perseverance, because neither of those games were easy, and we had to stay pushing the whole game to get them accomplished. So I think getting that feeling of how we have to be playing the whole game is really going to help us later down the road.
All right. Well, folks, in the studio with us today, we've got members of the number 2 ranked Prescott girls basketball team. Actually, I should say number 2 ranked in the 4A conference. Last time I looked, number 12 ranked in the open division. For those not familiar with it, open division, that's where you get the best teams from 4A, 5A, and 6A. You throw them all in the mix and you just say, have at it. And in the end, there can only be one. I don't know why I quoted Highlander. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Highlander movie, but I do like that line and all the music by Queen in there. Anyway, I digress. So we'll be talking to Bella Apt, Lily James, Addie Prisciandero, and Coach Jamie Johnson on the other side of the break. But before we go to break, as always, it's time to see who shined over the past 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Courtney Bennett of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team. She garnered 19 points in the Lady Bears' 55-44 win over Mingus last Friday. The number 2 star is, sitting to my left, Bella Apt of the Prescott basketball team. She posted 21 points in the Lady Badgers' 56-26 win over Coconino Tuesday. And our number 1 star of the week is sitting directly across from me, Addie Prisciandero of the Prescott basketball team. She notched 26 points in the Lady Badgers, get ready for this one, 78-9 obliteration of Mojave. Yikes on that score. Anyway, now on to the guys. Our number 3 star is Miles Murphy of the Embry-Riddle baseball team. He homered and drove in 4 runs in the Eagles' 11-2 rout of Justice University last Saturday. The number 2 star is Noah Gift of the Embry-Riddle basketball team. He registered 28 points in the Eagles' 88-77 triumph over Park University Thursday. And our number 1 star of the week, yeah, this comes as no surprise, Cam Raniker of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team. He tallied 50 points. Let me say that again. 50 points, which set a new single-game scoring record for Bradshaw in the Bears' 82-38 drubbing of Lee Williams on Thursday. Congratulations to all our 3 stars of the week. Break time here on the Roundup. We'll be back right after this. We are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here in the studio with me today from the number 2 ranked, number 12 ranked, whether you're following 4A conference or open division. Let's just go. Number 2 ranked Prescott girls basketball team. We've got head coach Jamie Johnson. Also with me are some of her players. We've got Flower Power Lily James. We've got Addie Cadabra, Addie Prisciandero, and we've got one half of the Bella twins, Bella Apt, the other one being Bella Roscoff, by the way. Who actually did a pretty good job last night. In fact, hit a game-ending 3-pointer for Prescott. So, Coach, I guess you got to be pretty happy having Bella come over from Chino Valley and being part of the team now.
Yeah.
Bella Roscoff, not Bella. 2 Bellas on the team, jeez.
I know. I call her Roscoff right now just to keep it separate. But no, she's doing a great job. And she finally gets to play because she had to sit out, but she's doing a really good job.
Yeah, and I think we should mention some of the other players because obviously we get a lot of attention put on Bella, Addie, Lily too. But you got some other really good players also in the starting lineup coming off the bench. Kate Jones has been doing a really good job for you, especially on the boards. Bentley Crockett, I think, has really stepped up her game this year. In fact, it seems like her forte is just kind of hovering underneath the basket, and if any of your big scorers miss, she'll just grab the rebound and put it back. You mentioned Bella Roskoff as well, doing a good job coming off the bench. Kylie Murdoch doing a good job coming off the bench. And I think that's the big thing. If you're going to be a championship team, you can't just rely on one or two players. It's got to be a total team effort. And it looks like that's what we're seeing now from the Lady Badgers.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I'm super proud of is that we've empowered each other. Everybody can step up and do the job. When other teams have done their homework and they're trying to shut one of us down, there's somebody else that can pick up the slack and get it done. And it really is a team effort. We have a strong group, and these girls are working together like super well. Like we are very disciplined right now, and I'm super proud of that. And we all can do the job.
Okay. Well, speaking of the rest of the team here, I think it's time we find out a little bit more about Addie and Lily and Bella's teammates. Yes, it's time for lightning round. I think Bella and Addie remember this from last year. So, Addie, I'm starting with you here. Who would you say on Prescott is the best dressed player? Who's the fashion plate for the Lady Badgers?
Probably Audrey.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Audrey Islas.
Audrey's outfits because I don't see her at school.
Oh, yeah, she has good outfits.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't be shocked by that. That's like, yeah.
Okay. So, Lily, who would you say is the funniest player on the team? Who's the team comedian?
Probably me or Kate Jones.
Yeah.
Okay. And Bella, opposite end. Who's probably the most serious player on the team?
Oh. I don't even know. I feel like we all have moments of seriousness, and then there are moments where we literally cannot even like we're dying laughing at literally everything. Like we'll be in practice, and like something happens or someone says something, and everyone's like on the ground laughing. Like we're like it's so funny. I don't even know. Shoot, who do you think? I want to ask you because I don't know.
Most serious?
Yeah.
Probably. I don't know. Everyone is pretty lighthearted.
Coach,
Well, I was going to say that's a really hard one because it's funny about this team. Like before a game, these girls are like giggly and like, and I've learned that is how they are. That's their pregame. I mean, most coaches would be worried about that. Like, get serious. Like, come on. But I know when we are off and we're quiet and we're not in that state of mind that something's up. So,
so it seems like the answer is no one.
Like we're all serious when we need to be. So it's like the game's about to start in like 5 minutes, then I feel like we kind of start locking in. But like when we're in the team room and we're all like getting ready before the game, like there's not an ounce of seriousness in there. Like everyone is just like doing something random. So
Okay, so no one before the game, but when the game starts, then everyone.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we got that hammered out now. Okay, Addie, who would you say is probably the most talkative player on Prescott?
Maybe either me or Bella or Lily, probably.
Well, then, glad we got all three of you in the studio today. Because then I don't have to do all the work in here. All right, Lily, opposite end, who would you say is probably the quietest player on the team?
Probably Mandy or Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I did interview Audrey after one game. It's like, yeah, I could kind of see that. Okay, Bella, here's the real fun one.
Oh.
Who can eat the most in one sitting on Prescott?
I feel like I can eat a lot. I never go home with the team like after away games, but like before the Sunday Slip game, I DoorDashed Wingstop and I ate like 6 wings and carrots and fries.
Okay, are you talking like 6-piece wings or like 6 boxes of wings?
6-piece wings. I
Oh,
did not eat
okay.
6 boxes of
I was
wings.
going to say, it's like, what kind of 6 are we talking about here?
No.
Oh, man. Oh, Coach, I feel bad for you if you like throw a pizza party for these girls, man.
right?
Oh, man. So anyway, so Bella, this is your senior year here at Prescott, and I want to go back to when you were just a wide-eyed and nervous freshman. And I mean, you're on varsity your freshman year, heck of an accomplishment. But what was it like for you the very first time you stepped into a varsity game? Like, what was going through your head that night?
Oh boy. I think like my very first game was probably like against Mountain Ridge or something like that, and they had like a Georgia commit on their team, so it was definitely scary. But it was just like I can only go out there and do everything I can, so it's like I might as well just like I'm a freshman, like I just need to, I don't know, go out in there and play basketball. There's nothing like that is expected of me at that point. So it was kind of just going. I would set little goals for myself, like in my phone app, that I was like, okay, I want to get 4 to 6 points a game as a freshman, and I want to get this many rebounds a game. And I would go through and I would look at them with my dad, and I remember if I would get that like little accomplishment goal before or after the game, I would like check it off. And I remember like I finally like got above that like little goal, and it was like 4 to 6 points, and I was so happy. And then like from there on out, like it just kept on increasingly getting better. So
And the rest, as they say, is history. Okay, so Addie, now as a freshman, you were on your varsity team, not at Prescott. You were over at Lee Williams. So what was it like for you the first time you stepped out there in a varsity game as a freshman?
I was pretty nervous, but at the same time, I wasn't too nervous because I knew all the girls. I had played with them over summer, and we had a pretty dominant win that game, so it was a good game for me to be able to like get in the groove of varsity games.
Okay, and now you only spent 1 year at Lee Williams, your sophomore year. Your family moves here to Prescott, so now you're on a brand new high school team. So what was it like for you, your very first game with Prescott? And here you are, a newcomer and already on varsity.
Yeah, my first game with Prescott, I was probably more nervous because like I had just transferred schools and everything, so there was more nerves like in terms of that. But I think my first game, I think it was at the Mountain Ridge tournament, and we played Higley, and we had a really good game that game, so it was a good like start with this team too.
Okay. And Lily, like Bella and Addie, you also made your varsity debut as a freshman. So what was that like for you?
Not even gonna lie, I was like really nervous. I was just like, I gotta take care of the ball, and like I found Bella and Addie like when they were open, so like I did my part.
Okay. And Coach, I know for your part, sometimes it can be a risk, maybe like saying, I got a freshman here. I got 2 freshmen here. Can I put them on varsity? Can they succeed? So what was kind of going through your head when you had Bella and Lily as freshmen and going, yeah, I'm putting them on varsity?
Well, I mean, they're very talented, and I knew they could do it. And it's such a statement to where we are right now because they've stepped it up and, worked really hard to be where they're at right now. And they've grown as players. And, like you can tell, they all have goals for themselves. And that makes them stronger and better. And it makes us as a team stronger and better. But I knew they could do it all along. That's why I had them there. So.
Okay. And, of course, Addie, like I said, you started your career over at Lee Williams High School. And, of course, I bring this up whenever I can because, you know me, I just have a big interest in cryptids and the paranormal and all that weird stuff. So over at Lee Williams, like how many stories did you hear about how haunted the school was?
There were lots of stories, but I never personally experienced any like paranormal activity, but I knew a lot of people who would say they've seen like chairs sliding across the floor and like voices across the hallway. So there's definitely a lot of people that had said they had experiences.
I think 2 of the stories that I saw was I think there's supposed to be a guy wearing a bowler hat going through the hallways. And then another one was some woman like in a 19th century dress who wanders around the football field. You hear about those too?
Yeah, I think I have heard of those. They did a whole like paranormal activity episode at the school, so I haven't watched it, but I should.
Yeah.
It's like Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, Ghost Adventures, yeah.
Yeah, because I think the other one, because I remember, I think it was the first football game we did there, and some of the staff at Lee Williams was telling me they played, I think it was Coconino they played there, and, Coconino had some Navajo players on the team, and I guess when they found out that the school was buried on a cemetery and they didn't move all the bodies, and I guess it's something with their tradition, their beliefs, where it's like, yeah, we can't step on this field, so we're out.
I knew a couple girls that specifically said they like weren't gonna go to high school there because of that. Like, So for a lot of people, it was like,
Yeah. So Lily, when you were over at Lee Williams, any weird happenings over there or what?
No, but I was like really curious because I did watch an episode with my family on Ghost Adventures, and I was like, oh my god, this is a high school.
And I gotta go. Yeah, I think Bella, you said last year when you were on the show, I can't remember if it was for volleyball or basketball, but I think that was, when I mentioned that, you said that was the first time you've ever heard about Lee Williams being haunted.
Yeah,
huh?
I'd never heard of it, and like I obviously never had any like paranormal activity like encounters that I just saw when I was there. So I also don't really go anywhere by myself, so I'm always like codependent. Like I'm like, oh, does someone want to come to the bathroom with me? And then it's like I make like a lot of people go with me because I'm not going by myself anywhere. So yeah.
Oh man. And of course, Addie, this is your senior year, and well, for those watching our live stream, as you can tell from her sweatshirt, she is going to, well, it says Alaska Nanooks, but that would be Alaska Fairbanks. And Addie, one of the reasons why you just, and probably people going, why is she going all the way up to Fairbanks, Alaska for basketball? But Addie, that is actually where you and your family are originally from, Alaska.
Yeah, I'm originally from Haines, Alaska. So when I was looking into colleges and everything, well, my uncle played at University of Alaska Anchorage. So I kind of was looking at like the GNAC, like those schools. And so once I got talking to the coaching staff at UAF, Coach Ricks and Coach Dyson, and I had my visit, it was a perfect fit for me because they have a great engineering program, which is what I'm hoping to go into, and I'm really excited for like what the coaches have going on there. So it was just a great fit for me.
Okay. And Lily, well, you're a junior, so you got one more year left here at Prescott. But any thoughts about college right now for you, or is it still a little bit off for you?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. So, yeah.
Okay, so you still got time to make up your mind. Bella, what about you? What are your college plans for after you graduate?
I'm going to be attending the University of Arkansas. So I'm planning on studying business, and I've always like kind of debated going back and forth between like playing in college and not playing in college. But I think as I've gotten older, I've just realized it's like a full-time job, and not that I don't love the sport, like I'm so grateful for everything that it's like brought me, all the friendships and lessons and memories from it, but I think it's just a high school sport for me, and I didn't want to like continue it on to the next level. So, but yeah.
Probably some disappointed people out there because I think a lot of us would have loved to see you play in college. But you know what? It's your decision, and you sound like you know what you're going to do. So best of luck to you there, Bella. Even though we're not going to see you on the court after this year, but still, like I said, you know what you're going to do, and that's what counts.
Yeah.
All right. And, well, we come up to the last few minutes of the show here. And, of course, Prescott, they'll be facing Lee Williams Tuesday over at the Dome. And then Friday, they are up at Flagstaff High School. And then, of course, we got playoffs around the corner. And, Coach, last year, you guys made it to the Elite Eight of state. What about this year? What is it going to take to move even further into the playoffs?
Well, it's going to take the things that we're doing right now as far as working as a team and executing and keeping our intensity up and playing tough defense and just, bearing down. It's a mental game, and when we get down the road and, you're playing a game against a super tough team and then you're taking a night off and then you're playing another super tough team, it takes a lot mentally. But I think we're prepared and we're ready for it, and we have an opportunity to do something that maybe has never happened at Prescott High School for the girls basketball.
And, of course, looking ahead to next year, you're going to be without Addie and Bella. Of course, we're talking about Prescott's all-time leading scorer here with Addie, our 1,000 club member, and Bella, who just this past week became the all-time leading rebounder. But looking ahead to next year, I mean, you've got a pretty good core coming back. You'll have Lily with you. You've got Bentley. You've got the other Bella Roscoff. Kylie Murdoch's coming back. So, yeah, it's going to be, next to impossible to replace these two here. But like I said, it looks like you got a good core for next year to build around.
We do, and they're getting the experience that they need for next year. So we're looking ahead to the future. The future looks bright. Of course, we're going to miss our seniors and miss these two right here, miss their presence and just them as people. I'm super grateful that I've had the opportunity to, have these relationships with these girls because it's a lot more than basketball.
All right. Well, folks, we're coming up to the end of the show. So I want to thank Coach Jamie Johnson from the Prescott girls basketball team, along with three of her players, Bella Apt, Lily James, and Addie Prisciandero. Ladies, thank you very much for being with us here on the show. Great job so far this season. We're definitely looking forward to next week's game up at Flagstaff, and definitely looking forward to see what you ladies can do in the playoffs. So thanks for joining us, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And again, folks, just a reminder, next Friday we will be up at Flagstaff High School for that rematch between the Lady Badgers and the Lady Eagles. Tip-off for that one is at 7 p.m. Meanwhile, we've got plenty of basketball for you over on the Team 1450 this weekend. Coming up today, starting at 11:30, we've got SMU versus Louisville. Then at 2 p.m., it's BYU versus Kansas. And we wrap things up with the NBA at 6 p.m., Dallas versus Houston. Tomorrow, more college and NBA basketball. Starting off at 10:45, we've got Alabama at Florida. Then at 1:45 p.m., it is Illinois and Nebraska. And then wrapping it up at 4:30 p.m., the Lakers and the Knicks. And, of course, on Sunday, February 8th, we've got the Super Bowl between Seattle and New England. And on next week's Tri-City Sports Roundup, I am going to have a whole bunch of local athletes giving their picks. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the Seahawks? Is it going to be the Patriots? Is it going to be someone saying, I don't care because my favorite team is not in the Super Bowl, so I don't care who wins? We'll find out next week, folks. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. See you again next week. Have yourselves a good one.